ain't gonna sell it.
Nikolas Cruz, responsible for killing 17 people, 14 students, and 3 staff members, and also like Planet just said, 17 other people were wounded. So that's 34 people that were involved in this. I would consider massacre. Right now, the jury, they voted on it. The jury came to a vote, and they basically said they're not going for the death penalty. He's not getting the death penalty. He's actually gonna get life in prison with no parole. Now, once this vote came in, basically this can't re-vote on it again. It is what it is. So I guess we're waiting for the sentencing on Nikolas Cruz. I'm curious to know everybody's opinion on that too. I'm very, very curious to hear people's opinion on that. My opinion is, okay, at first, let me tell you, when I first heard about the Nikolas Cruz situation, it threw me, all right? But this is a usual thing that happens in America, right? It's not the first time that somebody went into a high school or went into a facility and killed random people. But what I am going to say is a lot of people are feeling that that's not the results that they wanted. People actually wanted this man to face the death penalty, right? I kind of shared their sentiments at first. At first, I felt like he should have got the death penalty too. But somebody brought something to my attention that I didn't take this into consideration. When you're in jail, you're suffering. When you die, instantly, there's no suffering in that process. So would it be better for him to face instant death with no suffering involved? Or is it better for him to suffer in jail and have to live every day knowing that he's in prison and he's being preyed upon? Okay, we got somebody in the building. Wait one moment. Wait, Planet. They say the crazy thing is people get the chair for less. I agree. All right. Paul Bezel also say a slow death is more torturous than a quick one. Let him live with his sin. Though that was very well put. Very, very well put. I love that you said that, homie. I love that you said that. All right. So Planet, you want to tune in?
Of course. On this set, my sentiment on that is I feel like I came in with the same sentiment you came in with. Like, he killed people, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You understand what I'm saying? But quick death for what he actually did, his people are actually, they want to see that quick death. They want to see him sentenced to death. They want to see that, you know what I'm saying? But there's also, why let him get out of it? He know his end and how he gonna end. Those kids didn't know they was gonna wake up and go to school, and them staff members ain't know how they was gonna end up. Why is he gonna get the beneficialness of knowing, oh yeah, you're gonna die on this date and you can prepare yourself for that? You know what I'm saying? He can actually prepare and be like, oh well, I could get anything out of the way I want before I do. No, so this actually was the better settlement for him, the better route for him to go with the life sentence.
I agree. Now, there was a lot of family members when the verdict came in from the jury. There's a lot of family members that were seen crying in the courtroom for obvious reasons, right? But I don't think they actually took into that, because I didn't take that into consideration. Somebody brought that to my attention, because we just want immediate results. We want death, right? We want blood. The community, we want blood. But that might not be the best, most sufficient thing that might not be the best punishment. And I'm more swayed towards what somebody told me. He's gonna die a slow death. And let me put what Paul Bezel pulled up, which was very I like that was very wise the way you put it. Very well spoken. He said a slow death is more torturous than a quick one. Let him live with his sin. Amen. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I believe that every day he has to wake up with his sin. And you know what happens in jail? He becomes the prey, right? So he's going to live a life of misery. Everywhere he gets shipped to, any facility he gets shipped to, any camp he goes to, anybody that has to be in the same vicinity of him is going to take the opportunity to do something to him. And that's how it goes in the prison system. Because people in prison, they don't want to be grouped up with people like that.
They have kids that went to school.
Facts though. Facts. Now, Daniel said this. Now, look, let me place this. He says, now, look, if we lived in an eye for an eye society, we would have less crime. The victims' families need to feel the same satisfaction he did when he was killing. That's something else to take into consideration also, an eye for an eye, which we did live by that at one point. At one point, society was an eye for an eye, right? Shout out to everybody's in the building. Like I said before, I see people going in and out the building. Make sure you guys are sharing this broadcast. Share this podcast today, all right? We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about some important things, all right? Some politics as usual. Make sure you guys are sharing. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, all right? Tell everybody to get their notifications up. We need to get more people acclimated to the podcast, all right? The Don't Shoot Your Messenger podcast. Bow. You just come to bring the message, man. Don't shoot the messenger. All right, so I definitely agree with that. Eye for an eye society, we would have less crime. We definitely would have less crime if you knew that you was going to face the same punishment that you was giving out. If you was going to face the same circumstances that you gave out. I definitely agree with that.
Remember that this is not the times. Remember back in the days, you steal a fruit out of a basket, they'll hang you for it. And they'll analyze that. They'll see a man hanging just because he stole a fruit from a man who was actually who planted his soil in the ground and reaped what he sowed and went to market and had his thing on the market. You know what I'm saying? He trying to steal it. Somebody tried to snatch that fruit out of his basket. They catch him, they hang him for that and use him as an example. And they don't do that no more.
I agree.
The power of the money now. If that man, he'd be like, oh yeah, he could just walk by and he take that peach out your basket. You know what I'm saying? Because his people's got money. You feel me? I don't care. He feel he ain't got to abide by that law. You know what I'm saying? Once you got that money. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with that circumstance of it too. It's a double-edged sword in the society. It's something that might work in this case, it might work in some other cases. But for instance, in this case, I really can't, that's just my opinion, because I can't agree with how the actual victims of this feel. You know what I'm saying? I could just say from my opinion, if I was the victim, I might be out for blood. You know what I'm saying? I might be thinking.
Yeah, you see that? Definitely. I said initially how I felt, because at the end of the day, when we see stuff like that, we as a community feel like we was involved in it too as a community, especially when you're talking about kids that were hurt in that process, right? So I definitely wanted blood. I'm not gonna lie to you, I want to see blood too. But like I said, a slow death is much more better. It's much more better. It's what the punishment is a better, to me it's a more sufficient punishment. I definitely agree with slow death. It's in that matter, right? You killed 14 students, 3 staff members, and 17 other people wounded, and you're gonna have the luxury of a quick death. That's a luxury. To know that you don't have to go through you don't have to get drugged through the mud per se. You don't have to face certain adversities. You're just gonna experience a quick death. That's kind of that's a peaceful way of dying. Now, and what is it? Lethal injection? Yeah. What kind of pain's involved in lethal injection? It's not like the electric chair where you it's not like that.
It's not the gun range, it's not the firing squad. You know what I'm saying? So
that part.
That man is just literally just gonna be put to sleep like a baby. Come on, man. Hey, like I say, it's like I said, if I was more of a victim to understand what they're going through, I would be out for more blood. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Andre Rose, shout out to Andre Rose in the building. All right, you guys, make sure you guys go check out Andre Rose. Andre Rose has music on YouTube. You guys check him out. Also, Guy Bain. All right, you guys, make sure you guys go check out Guy Bain's music. All right,
on YouTube, he's on iTunes too, man. So
okay, yeah, iTunes definitely. You guys check them out. Now, I'm gonna repeat what Andre Rose said. He said we need to keep them alive to examine the young men to see what makes them young men do these kind of killings, and use the knowledge to prevent society from making more of this action. I agree with that too. They definitely need to be studied. And I'm pretty sure we have studies on that also, but we definitely need to study these people. Where they at psychologically, what caused that? Because they didn't just arrive at that point. It's not like they just woke up like that.
Now we
So I agree with that.
now we turning them. Now we making an excuse for them. We're turning them into science projects too. Also,
Well, but you got to remember, keep in mind now.
yeah, they've been doing it. They've been doing us like that, analyzing and saying this and that. But some people get more, like we say, some people get better thresholds than others. The same way, if it was I'm not trying to make it a race thing, but if it was a certain other color made that different decision, it would have already been.
Well, that's a valid point. Hold down right there, because we're gonna touch on that one. That's super valid. And I appreciate that you just brought that up. Honestly, that is super valid. And I think that's one of the key things that the Black community face. Also, that's one of the main things that we have a discrepancy about, right? But just to elaborate more on what Andre Rose said, we have to study these things because psychologically, these people experience certain things in their past that brought them to that point.
Exactly.
So we definitely have to figure out what is the psyche going through and what made them arrive to that mind state. Because it wasn't, like I said, it's dynamic. It's not black and white.
It's
not black and white.
Point. That's an excellent point. But now that just deters from saying that the person that goes through a struggle may never recover. They have a worse chance of.
No, we're not saying that he doesn't deserve. We're not saying that he doesn't deserve the outcome that he's getting. We're not saying that. But in the process, study him. While he's on death row, whatever they're at, study them at the same time. We're not trying to say. So
if they study him, that means he's going to be safe. He's not going to be in general population. They're going to have to study him. That's what I'm saying. He's not gonna. Oh, we're gonna have to keep an eye on him. What makes this guy ticks? So now he's safe now. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the point of view I'm getting towards.
You cooking. You came to podcast today. You cooking. I'm not gonna lie. You're right about that. You're right. To a certain extent, you're right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's the point. Andre Rose is super right. That man is a super intellectual brother. That's why I love when he tunes in. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I'm getting on the other side of the spectrum is now that they're treating him like a science project, that means he's out of general pop and they're treating him like he's a rock figure now.
Facts. So what you say? So what you think they should just take him? They should go study him and put him right back in population?
Exactly.
So don't have him secluded where he's
over-secluded. That means
over-secluded and overprotected.
Yeah, you treating him like a rock star now.
And also, make the time limited that we're studying him and put him right back in population so he could face the stuff that he's gonna face, right?
Yes.
Now I want to get back to what you said. Now this is a touchy subject, right? Now, if that was a black man. If that was a black man, would that have been the same outcome? And I think we all gonna come to the same conclusion, right? If that was a black man, he definitely would have got the death penalty. I would like to see the statistics on black and white crimes and who gets the death penalty the most with the same degree of a crime. Even though we as black people, we don't commit those type of crimes. Now, we had the DC snipers, and that's the closest that we ever got to mass murdering. The DC snipers. That was the closest that we ever seen us reach those type of levels of killing, right? We don't have that many serial killers. Josh, I'm just being honest, you know what I'm saying? And this is not we don't discriminate against white people. I love white people. Like I said, my great grandfather's white.
We love all people.
I always use that as an example, but we have to discuss certain things. We got to discuss the elephant in the room. Yes. And we as black people, we don't commit certain crimes to a certain degree. Though we might have one person in that category, the ratio is like 1 to their 10, 1 to their 5. That's the ratio with things in comparison to black and white crime, right? I wish we had some white people in here also that would chime in.
Yeah, I
appreciate their opinion, right? But definitely, if that was a black man, my heart feels that we would have got the worst outcome, the worst end of the stick in that situation. I definitely believe that. In my heart, I definitely believe that. So that was a valid point that you made, and the whole black community definitely that was the consensus in the black community. That's how we felt. That's why we was appalled. We as black people was appalled that this man got life with no parole. But it's gonna work to our favor because God is good. At the end of the day, that man is gonna live in his sin, and he had to wake up every day being the prey. So I definitely agree with that.